Hollywood fans, once again, you can see me and the lads are out here at another racetrack. That means it was GXCC racing this weekend out at the classic race venue of Bapsfontein. We're going to go into edit for that, but last week you guys have been waiting patiently and now we're going to deliver. This is Farm Jam, round number 2. Enjoy. All this Farm Jam racing action is brought to you by Vans Racing in association with Pirelli and Motul, along with VW Mastercars Hatfield, ANCAT Engineering, Stack Ups, and V2 Designs. It's Farm Jam time once again as we go out to Ribbokloof, the brand new venue from last year where it was debuted, and now it is the second round on the calendar, giving us record entries, over 250 riders showing up to take on the course. It's round number 2 with the FJs in 2025, and Leon, we're back at Ribbokloof, and if it could get any better from last year, I think it already has.
Yeah, we can just say thank you because we had perfect weather this whole week, the week running up to this. Had loads of rain, and yeah, the track's just perfect because the ground's nice. There's not going to be a dust ball, and it's not too wet, so it's not a muddy race. It's just perfect, dude.
It's going to be a record breaker, over 250 riders on the gate. Let's go and check out the morning session. And before the gate, as always, let's go pick up the vibe in the pits. Juniors and ladies up first. Hey, I heard it's going to be your first race. Are you excited about this one?
Yes, I am excited. Thank you.
I know your brother's a top rider. Has he been teaching you?
Yeah, he has. I've been training very hard, and I'm sure I've done worse than this because I ride at a place called Titans, and I've done climbs and things before. So, like, I've had a race before with a Pee Wee 50, but that didn't work out. I didn't finish it, and it just didn't work out. And then I told my dad I never want to race again, but he said, "Alan, you believe me?" And now, like, I was like, and now I'm only racing now.
That was brilliant. Little Stubby, you had a fantastic run at round number 1. Championship points leader. A little bit of pressure on you coming into this one, eh?
Yeah, there definitely is some pressure, but I'm just going to ride as best as I can.
Tell me about the setup on the bike, because we know this is not as technical, not as hard going. It's got more of a flow on this track.
Yeah, I just softened suspension, and that's pretty much it.
You walked the whole shot. It's a busy one, eh?
Yeah, but I'm going to take the outside line and then cut it on the inside.
You heard it here first. Good luck, buddy.
Okay, thank you.
Here we go. It's the return of the ladies' gates. Girls. I'm going to start with B. B, the girls are coming on strong this season, eh?
Yeah, no, we've got lots of entries. It's going to be a tough season. The first race is already tough, but it's going to be good.
Maddie, are you guys actually friends, or does that stop after the flag drops?
We're best friends, but when the flag goes down, I don't know her. I pretend I don't know who she is.
Hey? Hello, Tay. And welcome to FJ. Have you got anything to tell us? Have you done any of these, or is it all brand new?
I've done the first one. It was really fun. Like, it was awesome compared to the EWXC. So I fell down on the start there, instantly overwhelmed. So I'm very excited for this one.
Queen, great to have you back. We've been missing you. What does it feel like to get back on the gate and Farm Jam is busy again, eh?
Yeah, we haven't been racing or riding as much as we wanted to because work has been busy, so that's a good thing. But yeah, I'm happy to be back. Let's see what it does. Let's see. I'm very excited to be back on the bike.
You rode this track last year. It's got a good flow. For me, it was one of my favorite courses. What do you think of it?
It's a nice technical route. There's a little bit of everything, so it's an all-rounder. So if you're good in rocks, you're good in fast-flowing sections, then it's the best track for you.
Let's take him to the gate then. Huge numbers coming in for our juniors. The ladies' numbers are starting to come up. Wait till you see how many 50s are on the gate as well as they get their own course in 2025. First up though, let's go check out the 85 pros, where Gia Kutsia has been head and shoulders ahead of the field so far this season. Once again, he grabs the whole shot and gets the cheese. No surprise to see Queen Catherine Mostert, the former multiple Farm Jam champion, back after missing in action at round number 1. She got the whole shot, once again chased down by Nikita Frampton. 65cc pros, always going to be an interesting one. Seb Nell gets the job done, staying out ahead of Riley Skeepers. And in the 85 juniors, the machine, Jean-Luc van der Westhuizen, gets it done ahead of Andreas Skeepers. Stubby was out there as well after he had a great run at round number 1. In the 65cc juniors, Rogan Schwimm is the man to beat at the moment, the top Yamaha rider, getting the job done. And then, like we said, 50cc's, well over 20 riders on the gate, and it was Janu Potgieter who got the whole shot. Let's go chat to Leon about the morning track. Up and down the valleys and the hills. Take us through the junior loop in the morning.
Yeah, junior loop in the morning, they've got so much flow in their track. I mean, if you go into this track in one gear, you're going to ride this whole track. It's flowy, there's river crossings, there's a lot of valleys here, so they'll go down in the one valley and they're going to come up on the other side of the other valley. So it's going to be a cool race for them.
Out on the course then, in the hills and valleys of Ribbokloof. Let's climb the ladder with our 50cc riders. Like we said, huge numbers coming in. And the reason for that? The 50s get their very own track. Dad's looking after all the kids out there, and the kids that got to race managed to squeak their way inside of the top 5. Lucas Irwin getting a good job going. Blake Kruger, outstanding ride at round number 1 for the Bikers Warehouse rider. Issues on the day though, dropping him down to a number 4 this time, but that means he still stays inside the top 3 for the championship. Rourke Almark, this time up the road from him on the 177 machine, taking the 3 spot, and the whole shotter, Janu Potgieter. Great job for him into 2nd place. But it was Milan Roux, and the Roux have come in force to come out at the Farm Jams. So congratulations to Milan for taking his first win of the season. In the 65cc juniors, the Dailies know how to get the best out of themselves and their machines at the Farm Jams. Daly and the whole shotter, Rogan Schwimm, were all over each other in the early laps, completing 3 laps of the 8-kilometer junior racing course. Jordan Daly eventually finishing at number 5, the whole shotter, Rogan Schwimm on the Yami, getting it down to a number 4. But the kids that raced and challenged their way through the Ribbokloof area squeaked their way inside the top 3. Tesla Gregory working the Honda nicely to get himself up there into a 3rd spot, challenging onto the back wheel of Aaron Van Veek. Van Veek looking like a very strong bet for a top 3 in the championship come the end of the 5-round series. But there was no closing down on the eventual race winner, with an almost 5-minute gap come the end of the day's racing. Benjamin Mahalik made a name for himself at round number 1, continues to be the dude to beat on the 65cc juniors as we close out the action from round number 2. beautiful technical track with a good flow for the kids to start doing some learning, understanding how to get the best out of their setup. In the 85cc Juniors, always going to be a wild gate, gated inside the top 5, and Marcus Andres eventually dropping down to a number 6, Low Lombard. He'd have been expecting to run a little bit higher than a number 5, but pretty happy with his early season form. Declan Richards challenging for a top 3, but a big crash towards the end of the day dropped him down into a number 4. Still fighting for a top 3 in the championship though. The top 4 riders able to do a 5-lap racing count. Second out of the gates and dropping only 1 position throughout the day's racing, Andre Schippers finishing in an eventual number 3 spot. The other side of the coin was Zack Attack Stubbs. Stubby didn't get a good gate. He was outside of the top 4 and had to climb the ladder and make some passes out there. Second place was the best that he could do. But that still will be a nice tight championship. A win in round 1, a second at round 2. This is going to be a nice tight one as we head to round number 3 to decide who's going to lead into the second half of the season. Jean-Luc van der Westhuizen, unstoppable on the day. Whole shot, clear air, ran the numbers, and put almost 3 minutes into his closest rival to take the checkers. We caught up with him after the race. JL, that was a banger. Looks like this track was just custom made for you.
Yeah, I love the track. Ups and downs, the rocks. Yeah, it was amazing. The grasslands, everything was in it. I loved it.
You had to get fired up because the kids came and found you the last race, eh?
Yeah, this last 3 laps I was like kind of tired, but I'm just glad I had the win.
Stubby, elbows up, second time this time around. That tightens up the championship.
Yeah, I just next round I have to give it my all to get the lead.
What was the difference today? Just a track that maybe suited JL a little bit better?
Yeah, I think so, but it was very bumpy and a lot of small rocks, but it was a pretty fun track overall.
What about this series, dude? I mean, these have been 2 of the best races of your season so far.
Yeah, I love the first one. This one is probably a little bit better, but it was good.
Let's confirm the results for our junior competitors, the 85cc juniors, JL and Stubby. That is going to be an interesting one for the rest of the season as Schippers, Richards, Lombard, Andres, Moshan and Schreier try to do the catch-up. On the 65cc juniors, Mahalik is once again the man on the top step, beating out on Van Wyk and Gregory. Good ride from Gregory to get up into a number 3, beating out on Schwim, Daly, Van der Westhuizen, Van Wyk and Croft. And in the 50cc's, where once again record entries gave us Milan Roux at the top step, Potkita in the 2-step, and Olmark taking it to a number 3 with Kruger down in 4. That's our junior competitors. In the morning session though, we also had the senior 85s and the pro ladies. We'll start things out with the 65cc pro category races where they were ripping up the track. 4 riders saw Robert Stradham in a number 4 spot, Seb Nell, who got the whole shot, dropping down to a number 3, where Riley Schippers and Julian van der Berg were the class of the field. Eventually, the race for first and second separated by just 3 seconds. This will be a gnarly championship. Van der Berg and Schippers going out there and smashing 4 laps, shadowing each other the whole way around the morning racing session. Someone has to lose though, this time around, with Schippers eventually having to slot down into second, which meant Van der Berg was on the tippy tops. 85cc pros setting stellar lap times out there, able to use a limited version of the main course, which meant they had 2 Chilean ice cream options. The first one early on in the lap, and a little bit later the option of a hill climb Chilean ice cream, allowing the kids to do some learning out there. Marshall Volshank got it done with a number 4 with Gabriel Daly, the standout ride for Gabe into a number 3 spot, one of his best results of the season so far. 2 laps of the big course under his belt, 3 laps under the belt for Joshua Harris. Harris did a good run, but just could not hang with the flat-out pace of the eventual race leader, the man that's large and in charge of this championship. On the Bikers Warehouse Husky, Geir Kutsia once again hammered the nail, putting a lap between himself and his closest rival to extend his championship points lead. And to the ladies, also going out there on the main loop, Maddie Gowdy working hard, putting a lot of training in this season, but she had some issues out there on some of the more technical zones, eventually dropping down to a number 6. Bianca Edwards, similar situation for her. She stayed on the number 3 lap, but just couldn't find her groove. Number 5 was the best that she could do. Brooklyn Lilford as well was out there, unable to find the groove, swapping over from a smoker to a thumper. But the more skilled technical riders started to rise to the top here at this round. Carla Breitenbach used those long legs to get herself up to a number 4 spot. The Frampton sisters were also running inside the top 3 once again, with Taylor getting a number 3 and Nikita 7 minutes up the road in second place. Nikita Frampton, the only lady in sight of the eventual race leader on lap number 1, but it was only for the first lap, because after that, Queen Cat was gone. Catherine Mostert, the multiple Farm Jam champion, was back and banging. 4 laps under her belt and a lap ahead of the closest lady. The Queen, once again, sitting on her throne. The issue was, though, she was missing in action at round number 1. So it's going to be interesting to see how the championship unfolds for the rest of the season. Catherine Mostert confirms taking the win at round number 2, with Nikita Frampton and Taylor Frampton taking the 2s and 3s, Breitenbach in the 4th spot, B. Edwards, Maddie Gowdy, Chantal Frampton, and Brooklyn Lilford. And then in the Pro 85s, no big surprise, Geerje Kutsia continues to dominate ahead of Harris, Daly, Volschenk, and Morgan Daly, unfortunately not completing that first lap. In the 65cc pros, Julian van der Berg and Riley Skippers, the class of that field, and the closest finish to the morning session. Just 3 seconds, giving van der Berg the win. In third was Nell, and followed by Stratham. Before we go into the afternoon session, let's catch up with our friends at VW Mastercars Hatfield with their Drive Now, Pay Later deal. Buy any Mastercars demo or pre-owned Polo and only pay your first installment in July 2025. Why wait? Your Polo is ready to roll. The afternoon session always super exciting, massive pro gates. Something has happened with Farm Jam in 2025. I think the secret is out. We had a lot of national superstars coming to line up this time around. Let's go around the pits and chat to a few of the lads before we go racing. Junior, you had a banger run last time out just a month ago. Second place, only one place to go from there.
Yeah, this time I'll get it. I've been training hard. I'm a bit sick, but it's okay. Nothing's going to stop me today. And just do my best and see what happens at the end of the day. Hope I finish.
Seems like your style of riding suits the FJs. Not too technical, not too fast, somewhere in between.
Yeah, I mean, I've been riding a lot at Heidelberg and like different styles of riding, but more into the rocks type of things. I enjoy the rocks more than the flats. And we'll see what today brings for me, and I'll take what I can get.
Dude, after a season full of injuries, it's great to have you back, and you picked the perfect race for this one.
Yeah, this is for me, it's just practice to get into the sport, everything. So yeah, glad to be here. I'm looking forward to it, so yeah.
For the juniors out there, you had a great junior career, and then as you got onto the big bikes, you had a big crash, but are you getting more comfortable on the big bike now?
Yeah, I'm training a lot at home. I'm getting my setting point where I want to be. And I want to train very hard and stuff to get my nationals where I want to get used to the big bikes and everything, so yeah.
Farm Jam, one of those races, we know it's got kind of a bit of everything. What's the favorite part for you? Do you like the ups or do you like the downs?
Both actually. It's for me, like I said, practice, I like the downs more because I'm good at it. The ups, sometimes it's tricky, but it's good.
King Carl, here we go. My favorite track of the year.
I had an awesome one year last year. I must say out of the Farm Jam season, I probably think this is probably the best one. A little bit of a faster, some tricky sections. But yeah, we're back this year. Out of the seniors now back into the S2 Pro class. Banging bars with the lighties there a bit. Let's see what we can do. Most of all, we're here for fun, here with the families. Big Chris, thank you. My wife, my kid. And then most important, the Lord to keep us safe. And then you guys keeping us famous on the TV. And we'll get you guys at the end.
Brother, you hammered the nail at round number 1. That means everyone's looking for you at round number 2.
Yeah, round number 1 was a really, really good round. I was super excited, but I'm excited for today. Last year I missed this one, unfortunately, but I'm really looking forward to for today. I saw all the lighties, it looks like they're having a jaw, so I can't wait.
What about the gates though? It looks like a national here now.
Holy, we've got all the big boys here today. So John's back as well. We've got Davin Cocker, Maddie. So we're going to have a jaw today. That's what I can say. It's going to be a jaw, and we're going to be rolling with one another the whole day.
Just bike check, 350 or 3 honey?
3 honey. Yeah, no, I need the 2-stroke for today. The 2-stroke's really needed for these rocks. Oh, I love it.
Roo, welcome back to Farm Jams, or should I say the National Championships of Hare Scramble Racing.
Just a Matt. I'm excited for today, but I saw that gate. It looks quite technical. Well, I did walk some of the routes and I saw it was technical, nice and flowing and that. Like you said, that lineup, it's going to be insane. I see Davin Cocker is even here. It's a few guys that is in the nationals currently, so looking forward to it. Don't know how I'm going to do. Been busy at work at this moment, a lot of projects coming in, and we did do the medallas the other day, but that's also a month ago, so let's see what happens.
Love the afternoon session. The energy builds up. It gets pretty tense out there on the line, and everyone is desperate to go out there. 3 chili and ice cream splits, 21 kilometers of racing, and massive talent on every single lineup. Starting things out with the S1 Pros, the big bangers. Kurbis Bester dropped the hammer and got the reaction best, but what was on his tail were national superstars on the factory machines. Davin Cocker and Maddie Wilson running in a 2 and 3. Into the S2 Pros, interesting situation. Lemma was there, Brendan Kotzer, Vernon Nordier, and a lot of big swingers. S3 Pros, Ben van Schalkwyk gets his first hole shot ahead of Jerome Stubbs and Justin Rom. And in the seniors, Matthew Gregory, Nicholas Morgan, Vernon Lowe, and Kochi. Always going to be wild in the seniors. The Masters, massive lineup and a lot of comeback riders. Watch out for Andre Mostert on the ANCAT machine. Got a solid gate just outside the top 5, but it was Kirky that ran the big numbers, and he would be the man to beat on the senior gate. S1 Amateurs always going to give us our biggest gate of the afternoon. Well over 30 madmen going out there to get the job done. S2 Amateurs, Neil Olofse on the SVR racing machine, back with a bang. He had an amazing ride to finish inside the top 6 in the pro categories at round number 1, but decided to come back and enter into amateurs this time around. Found a comfortable hole shot. S3 amateurs would be Dion Jacobs. Junior Christie out of the gate in 4th, so he would have to do a big chase back there. The Grandmasters, Joris Stassen has somehow got his hole shots dialed. That's 2 for 2 so far. Hole shot at round number 1 and round number 2. Incredible form coming in from the superstar coming out of Subaru. The novice categories were absolutely insane. We saw so much new blood coming in, new talents, and everyone desperate to test their mettle against Ribbokloof and the Farm Jam second round of the championship. S2 novices, it was SVR himself, Sean van Rensburg, who got a tasty hole shot that was setting up nicely for the early part of the event. The last 2 gates were the crazies, the S2 novice category, giving us huge numbers, and they would be followed by the greenies. The great story was record numbers at round number 2. The greenies also desperate to get out of the gate. Remember the green riders, this is the bunch of riders that are new to racing and new to Farm Jam. They get to go out on the junior course, so not too tough conditions to learn. Leon takes us through the afternoon session. Hollywood went out yesterday and I ripped this track open. Dude, it was gorgeous. I mean, I'll let you talk about it, but I love this track.
Yeah, when you go out and you come back and you say you liked it, then it has to be good. I think for the bigger bikes in the afternoon as well, they're going to have a jolt because there's so much for them to do. You know, Ryan spent so much time out here pre-marking this track and sorting out the routes, and what the stuff he found was just amazing. It's a lot different than last year. Some of it's the same, but it's so much different.
Let's go out into the beautiful hills and valleys of the Ribbokloof area. We'll start things out with the novice and the greenies. Remember the green riders out there on the version of the junior lap that was opened up in the morning session. 2 hours to understand what Farm Jam is all about. Angelique Lindekoe getting it done for a number 6 ride, with Ryan Stewart enjoying his time on the Yami to a number 5. Remember the track was opened up nicely in the morning session by the juniors, and with a lot of common trails they would also be seeing the pros and the faster category riders throughout their day's racing. Tivon Klaassen rocking and rolling it to a number 4 spot, just behind the back wheel of Chris Sneyman. The top 4 managing to complete 5 laps of racing in just over 2 hours. So they had a fun time out there. Sneyman was a 3 spot. Dierwald Lombard, good enough to get up into a number 2 spot. Dierwald, certainly good enough to maybe climb up into the novice category next time around and do the big course. But it was Ricardo Rubenheimer, the Rubenheimers, great supporters of the Farm Jam Tour. Ricardo taking the win on the top step to be the king of the greenies. Next up, our 3 novice gates. S3 novice, awesome to see Chris Harmser Jr. getting the job done. He unfortunately got himself jammed up in one of the mud bogs and dropped a few positions, eventually finishing the day in a number 6, but that still keeps him in the top 6 for the championship hunt. Peter de Toy up to a number 5, and Alexander Fasaki taking one of the older Yammies up to a number 4. So he's worked really well out there, got a good setup on his machine, 3 laps under his belt. But the top 3 were running a 4-lap count, with Fabian Winslow taking a number 3 on the 85 machine. Just 10 seconds off the back wheel of eventual 2nd place finisher, Luke Harris. Harris looked like he was absolutely dialed in there, and great to see the 1, 2 and 3 in the S3 novice so closely bunched. Harris just finishing round about 1.5 minutes off the back wheel of Bjorn Barnard. The 944 of Barnard starting to make a name for himself as he closes out on the 2nd round of the series. In the S2 novice, where we start to see slightly bigger machines and maybe some faster lap times, Hanno van Zyl taking his machine up to a number 6, with Martin Els up to a number 5. 3 laps under the belt for those guys, as well as the rider in 4th place, Etienne Smith. Also going for a 3-lapper and a racing time of 1 hour and 54 minutes. Pretty good pace there. In the top 3, Gert Mayberg doing a great job of work out there on his Husqvarna machine. Good setup on that ride. 2 hours 26 under his belt for 3rd place, and just missing out on the number 2 spot by around about a minute and a half. That was James Van Veek. Cool to have the Van Veeks back with us and doing the business. Goggles hanging like we used to see back in the old school style of riding. Sitting down on the downhills, making sure no mistakes were made. But it was Mikey Irwin that dropped the hammer the hardest in the S2 novices. 2 hours and 22 minutes under his belt, taking the win by just under 2 minutes come the end of play. So as you can see in the novice categories, very close numbers. And the big bikes in the S1 novices, meaning they are running 300 smokers or unlimited 4-strokes. Gavin English getting it done to a number 6. Derek Marchant into a number 5. Jakes Van Dijk to a number 4. And Kobus Van Krayenburg. Good result for him into 3 spots. Darius van der Westhuizen 4 laps under his belt and a number 2 spot. But about 5 minutes up the road was Robert Chester. Chester, the class of the field this time around. Looks like he was just running a little bit faster on every single sector of the track, and eventually eking out that 5-minute win. Chester, top step in the S1 Novice Big Bangers. Here's confirmation of our Novice and Greenie results. Chester taking the win in the S1 Novice ahead of Van der Westhuizen, Krayenburg, Van Dijk and Marchant, English, Klutter and Koch rounding out the gate. S2 Novice all about Mikey Irwin and Van Veek, with Gert Mayberg, Smitty, Els Van Zyl, Adrian Chamberlain in a number 7, and Theo Barwaz to a number 8. In the S3 Novice, Bjorn Barnard just squeaks that one out. A minute and a half was his winning margin ahead of Harris, Winslow, Fasaki, de Toy, Chris Harmser Jr. in the number 6, DeSantos, and Krobler. And the king of the greenies, Ricardo Rubenheimer, confirms his big win ahead of Lombard, Simon, Klaassen, Stewart, Lindeque, De Villiers, and Gumley. From the novice and our greenies, we start to move up the ladder to the amateur category riders, where the times would start to squeak out a little bit quicker, but the competition was definitely closer. S3 amateurs, Camden Kaiser gets it done, just beating out on Caleb van der Westhuizen, and not too far off the back wheel of Alexander Freeman. All these riders on a 4-lap racing count, and on this gate, only one rider was able to put himself head and shoulders ahead of the rest. Freeman was there, Milan van der Kerk and Dion Jacobs very close running in the early laps until some of the gaps started to blow open. Dion Jacobs cemented himself into a number 4 position, but just off the back wheel of Milan van der Kerk. Those two separated by around about a minute come the end of play. Once again, as you could see, the times were super close, which meant it was elbows up racing. One of the names we know very well racing across the country, and particularly on the Farm Jam Racing Tour, Rickers Annandale gets the job done in second place. He was the final finisher on the 4-lapper, but Bruno Niebuhr makes a comeback after coming from injuries last season. And the Rubine Racing superstar hammered the nail, putting a lap between himself and his closest rival. In the S2 Amateurs, Bert Moe knows how to get the best out of himself and understands the setup for Farm Jam absolutely perfectly. 6th spot for him. Molo Kutzer up the road from him in a number 5. Those guys were on the same minute and separated by just 5 seconds come the end of play. After an amazing hole shot, Neil Olofsson eventually dropped down to a number 4. Looks like he got caught out by a couple of the Chilean ice cream splits, but still very good pace and form for the SVR superstar Olofsson. Just couldn't quite squeak his way inside the top 3. Alicio Di Siena starting to make a name for himself. This time getting off one of the older machines. I think it was an old Beta that he used to rock out there, and now onto a Sherco. Second place, this time once again to Warren Shapiro, always going to be living inside of the top 3, and one of only 2 riders on the S2 Amateur Gates who actually got onto the lead lap and put 5 laps under his belt. Very impressive times coming in from Shapiro, but it was Franz Berger that got it done and eventually would walk away with the win. In the S1 Amateur Big Bangers, Frank Venter got it done to a number 6 ride, losing out by a minute to Ethan Peltzer. Very close running and lots of big bunching going on out there as well. People were finding Buds out there on the big 21K. Buzz, the big guy out of Bikers Warehouse, was there. Just couldn't get on the back wheel of his good buddy Luke Battersby. Battersby was 6 minutes up the road, confirming that the top 3 are in a class of their own. But Battersby was quite a long way off the back wheel of the top 2. The last of the riders on a 4-lapper, the top 2 riders running a 5-lap racing format. Jacques van der Kerk into a number 2 spot. His full race time, 5 laps in 2 hours and 39. So the same lap as the pros did, showing that some of the amateurs are real tasty. Hendrik Krobler, though, was the dude, eventually taking the win by over 2.5 minutes from van der Kerk. Hendrik Krobler continues to be the man on this category. Here's once again confirmation of the results from the riders finishing out at Ribbokloof, round number 2 of the series. Krobler beats out on van der Kerk and Battersby with Buzz, Peltzer, Venter, de Klerk and Breitenbach. In the S2 AMs, Franz Berger beats out on Warren Shapiro. Those two, the class of the field at the moment, with Di Siena and Neil Olofsson. Good ride from Olofsson to beat out on Kurtzer, Mo, Labuskakny and Winslow. And in the S3 amateurs, great to see Bruno Niebuhr almost back at full fitness, hammering the nail on the field, ahead of Annandale, van der Kerk, Jacobs, Freeman, Geyser, Van der Westhuizen and Christie, toughing it out through an injury, but still getting an 8th place ride. Next up, we're going to cowboy up because it's time to go into our Edge Group classes. The Grand Masters has been a success story since it unfolded just 2 seasons back. Ian Smith gets himself up onto the show into a number 6 ride. Evan Howell gets bike number 1 back on track and gets a number 5. That keeps him in the championship. His good buddy on the Beta takes a number 4. That's Conrad Edwards, showing his class and speed. The whole shot superstar Stuart Stassen eventually dropped down to a number 3, but definitely shows that he has been putting in some midweek training to be able to survive and stay on the lead lap. The man that always is out there rocking the adventure helmet, the slam face of Anton Marais, once again inside of a top 2. He's like a diesel engine, this guy. He just does not quit. But this time around, it was one of the top Beta riders out there once again. Dave Liebenberg gets the job done and sees the checkers to take his first ever Grand Masters win out at the FJs. In the seniors, this was the Wild Bunch. Tyson Labuskakny squeaks his way inside of the top 6, chasing down on the back wheel of Fergie Mack. Fergal McAdam on the Bikers Warehouse Husky. Fergie, going to be a championship player, bringing home the bacon inside the top 5 at every single round. Switching out machines as well, this time around going for the smoker. Nicholas Morgan, second out of the gate, looked super aggressive. Didn't fade too badly either, but he was the last rider to get himself on the 4-lap count. The top 3 were banging it. Vernon Lowe on the Roost KTM managed to get himself up there into 3rd place and stay on the lead lap, but it was a 2-horse race out front as all bets were off. Round number 1 winner, Matthew Gregory, got the cheese and ran the numbers. Himself and Kochi were all over each other. Kochi pulled the pin early on, but slowly but surely, Gregory closed him down. Most of the race, it was 20 seconds. Onto the last lap, it was 10 seconds. And at the flag, it was 1 second. Kochi on the Shimwell's Yami, Matt Gregory on the Mech Spec Reboost Energy Machine. They were all over each other. And in the Masters, Otto Horlacher, his first taste of FJ racing at the previous round just 1 month ago. This time around, 6 spots shows how intense the racing is inside the top 6. Bronson Engelbrecht had one of his standout rides, taking his gas machine into a number 5, not too far off the back wheel of Gavin Russ. Russ was able to get him and his Sherco up into a number 4. Looked very, very well set up and nicely balanced. 4th place and just a minute off the back wheel of Sean Mitchell. Once again, throughout all the categories, because of the depth of the field, you can see times are close and positions are very tight. Sean Mitchell took his gas machine on the 911 up to a 3rd spot, and he was very, very close to the back wheel of Andre Mostert. In fact, the top 3 riders separated by less than 3 minutes. Mitchell and Mostert were on the same minute. This was a return to racing for Andre Mostert. Hadn't raced in over 4 months. So the main man from Ancat Racing got a number 2 spot, and he was in sight of the eventual race winner in the early laps. But with 2 laps to go, Kirky found an extra gear and moved himself into a commanding lead, eventually taking the flag with a 2.5 minute gap over Mostert. Great to see Kirky running the numbers once again, and also Mostert challenging for that win. At the flag, the age group guys gave us some great reactions. Kirky, this was a classic race. I know it had an old school feel. It had everything.
It was absolutely fantastic. This is one of the best routes. I saw it in your preview saying it was going to be good, and it didn't disappoint. It was amazing. It had the best of everything. There was one little area where we battled a little bit, which was the bog. They cut it out. But other than that, well marked, safe, good fun. I just had a smile the whole day. It was incredible.
Where are Otto and the boys?
I think they're just behind us. But yeah, it was a great day. Fantastic. Well done, guys. Proper job.
Brother, last time around it was close. This time it was even worse. You found a new friend out there.
I found a new friend out there. Yeah, first 3 laps were a little bit quiet, and then yeah, I believe it was 20 seconds and 10 seconds, and we went out literally 20 seconds apart, and yeah, race all the way. It was literally, I was on his ass pretty much the whole race. Had one little mix-up, fell on one of the sides, and that was him. He had it. I had to just catch up. But awesome race, awesome event. Big shout out to everyone. Thank you.
Round 1 was a new one for you. This was also a new venue. It looked like you enjoyed this one maybe a little bit better.
Yeah, I think this one was a little, they said it was going to be a bit tougher. I don't think it was. It was definitely faster. Thanks very much.
Shot, dude. Everything just worked. Oh. Swing it in. You want to be? Kochilicious, as always, thank you for the show.
Wow. Guys, all I can say is thank you. Ruan, Leon, Melissa, everybody. I mean, that, honestly, the best racetrack I think I've ever raced in my life. It was picture perfect. Lap 1 was a little tech. Lap 2 cleaned up. Lap 3 was absolutely flat box. Honestly, best race I've had. I mean, just thank you, Lord, for getting me here. P1 again, which is like a great dance with Maddie. Flip, man, from the first lap till the very last corner, it was neck and neck the entire race. So, yeah, great show, great event, fantastic venue, and thank you, everybody. Thanks to the guys at Shimwell's, Yamaha, everyone for putting it together. Maddie, give us some debrief. Next time, that much water and that much water. 2 different amounts of water. BTW, this thing was underwater on the first lap. So yeah, I'll take that Axel High water with a pinch of salt next time. But honestly, what a fantastic event. Loved it. Absolutely beautiful.
Love those interviews. Love the age group guys. The Masters confirmation then, giving us Kirky the win ahead of Andre Mostert, the comeback guy. Mitchell in the number 3 spot ahead of Russ, Engelbrecht, Horlocker, Van Strijp and Fanta. For the seniors, Kochi got it done, but only just. They literally crossed the stripe within inches of each other. Gregory, commanding run in a number 2 spot. That's going to tighten up the championship ahead of Lowe, Morgan and McAdam. And then in the Grandmasters, Dave Liebenberg stands on the top step with that beater ahead of Marais, Stassen, Edwards, Howell, Smitty, Bessinger and Thompson. Hang on to your hats, because there's only 3 gates left. The pros. We'll start things out with the S3 Pro Riders, where the hole shotter, Ben van Schalkwyk, would eventually drop down to a number 5. He's doing a great job this season in his first year up onto the big wheels. Andrew de Kock with a little bit more experience into a number 4 and stayed on the lead lap with a number 5 count. Justin Rom, tasty ride indeed. 3rd place, but just couldn't run with the rock and rollers out front. Bigger lads certainly suiting this more muscular style of riding. Jerome Stubbs getting it done on the 699 Axis House machine. 2nd place for him, but almost 3 minutes off the eventual win. Kevin de Kock is the dude on this gate at the moment, as he now extends off the front. He was dialed in all day long, did not put a foot wrong, and runs the numbers in the championship now. The S2 Pro Gate had some big bangers. Dion DeToy came back into this season. So cool to have him back. A former senior national championship runner. He goes into the S2 Pro category, chasing on the back wheel of Vernon Nordia. That was for a 5 and 6. Nordia in his comeback season after a back operation last year. So impressive just to see him out there riding on the bike. Gav Young, all too tall, doing a good job once again. Bit of a diesel engine is Gav. Always going to see him running inside that top 5. Full-on championship player. Ryan Lemmer, so good off the gates, and he stayed inside that top 3 the whole way through the day. So Lemmer is someone who is now on the radar as he gets himself onto a podium. Andrew Mostert for the ANCAT Racing Squad was also back and banging, and he just narrowly missed out on the eventual race win to a hard-charging Brendan Kutzer. That is going to be the one to watch out for, but in the championship, it's all Kutzer on the 300 Sherco. Mostert ran him close though. So let's move up into the S1 Pro category, where a ton of riders were out there. Erhard, Airtime Bierkus, you'd expect to see him inside the top 5. He was down in the number 7. Eric Merry bought his cross-country machine, the big 450 Husky, and was able to finish in a number 6. Johnny Buerta missing in action at round number 1, but he brought the Bikers Warehouse Husky 300 Smoker back to the gate and eventually finished number 5. Round number 1 winner Ruben Peters muscled his way through to eventually get to a number 4 spot. That's the best that he could do because the top 3 were gone. Cobus Bester pulled the whole shot cheese, eventually dropping down to number 3, but he was very, very strong on the day, staying within sight of the top 2. 2nd place this time around, coming back to Farm Jam Racing after missing in action for around about 4 seasons. Multiple cross-country national champion and the factory KTM rider Matty Wilson was in 2nd place. Chasing down onto the back wheel of his good buddy and stablemate on the other side of the garage, racing the South African factory Husqvarna, Dav Cocker, hammered the nail. Loved his time out there, and I think we found a new Farm Jam superstar. The multiple national champion took the flag with a big smile on his face. Dav, I can see you're busy at the end. Your first Farm Jam, I think it was a good one.
It was very nice. I really enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, the track was tricky, but I enjoyed it a lot. My type of riding, tight, twisty, rocky, and yeah, the 2-stroke was the bike for the day, so I'm happy with my choice and looking forward to the next one.
See what the guys are going for, a bit like American GNCC style.
Yeah, definitely. It's a little bit like that GNCC type of racing. The track is a lot thinner than overseas from what I've seen. I haven't raced there yet, but from what I've seen, the track's a bit skinnier here, but it just makes it harder, tougher to pass people, and more of a challenge. So I really like it.
Matty, absolute banger, busy day and a fun time. I know you like banging bars with Dav.
Yeah, I know, today was good. The first time I actually got to get onto Davin's back wheel in a long time. So that was good fun. And yeah, just kept the pace going, good training, had a draw out there.
Great intensity, hey?
Yeah, I know, the track keeps you going the whole time. There's always rocks. Nothing dangerous though, all marked very well, so good fun out there. 2-smoke was a draw as well. Love racing this thing.
Did I call it or what? How cool were those downhills?
Yeah, those downhills were proper. If you got them wrong, you're going down hard, but no, it was really cool.
Shout out to Farm Jams. You haven't raced these in a long time.
Yeah, I think it's been about 4 years since my last Farm Jam, so well done to Leon and his crew for putting up a spectacular event. We'll definitely be back. This was a great event to come to. Definitely recommend it.
Thanks, Matty. Thanks, dude. Good man. Good man. Dude, you certainly didn't have an easy run at round number 1, but this was a tricky one. Everyone came out swinging.
Yeah, so all the big guys came, and I thought, yes, it's going to be pretty challenging, which it was pretty challenging. I was just struggling to find a rhythm today. I don't know what was going on. My front perch, I didn't tighten it fully, so I was circling, and then eventually we went and we got it tightened. But I just went and I maintained at least. I tried to push and be in front of Devon so I can keep my points lead, and then just see how the race goes and just maintain it.
Yeah. With a short championship, Wilson and Cocker kind of out of the championship, so you're still in the pound seats.
Yeah, hey, if these boys, they come back, then it's going to be a very fun championship. But for now, because lucky to have them here, it shows me that I need to work my speed, just work my overall fitness, and then it's just overall going to just make me a better rider, and I'm just going to get faster throughout the season.
Just give me a breakdown of the track. Favorite bits?
Oh, favorite bits, yes. This felt like a GXCC almost. Some of these parts, whoa, you just open around all the corners. And then the nice like woody sections, they were dark. You don't want us, they were dark, but geez, it was a lovely, lovely track.
John, I've watched you race absolutely everything under the sun. This is your first FJ. Give me some feedback.
Oh no, I mean, it's just completely different to Botswana racing. Amazing scenery, amazing, beautiful soil, and through the trees, like we're not used to this, but I'll come back again, definitely. That was amazing, yeah.
This valley, I mean, if you're not going up, you're going down,
No, exactly, mud puddles, hill climbs, yeah, you got to be on it. It's almost like a bit of a roof starter pack, but yeah, awesome event, well run, I must say, and yeah, well done to everyone that's made this happen, yeah.
Dude, thanks for making the trip across the border. Can't wait for you to see the rest of the tour.
Thanks so much, Matt. Yeah, appreciate it. Cheers.
Thanks, Johnny. Kevo, that's 2 for 2, and if anything, you looked faster at this one.
Thank you. Yeah, I felt really good on the bike. Track was a lot of fun. I'll definitely be at the next one. Cheers, guys.
I told you it had a bit of absolutely everything, and you had to get that first downhill right, didn't you?
For sure. I kept my line tidy there. If I made a small mistake, I knew it was game over. Yeah.
Tell me about the competition, because it feels like a national championship at the moment, you know?
Yes, it does. It's tight racing. 3 hours, full gas, lap to lap. Crazy. It's intense, but my body is feeling good. I'm strong, and can't complain about the result. Lekker.
With that in mind, let's go check out those results then. In the S1 Pros, Dav Cocker, Wilson and Bester, the top of the charts, beating out on Peters, but Peters should still hang onto the championship points lead. Berta, Mary, Bierkus and Smitty take us to the end of the top 8. S2 Pros, Brennan Kotzer continues to dominate at the top of the charts, but Anru Mostert was agonizingly close to taking that win. He gets second place ahead of Lemmer, Young, Nordia, DeToy, Carl DeToy and Raymond Language. And then the S3 Pros, it's Kevin de Kock, who's gone 2 for 2 now. He is the man to beat on that championship. He once again beat out on Stubby, Rom, de Kock and Van Skalkwyk. Man, the pros were pinned here at the second round of the championship. That was all the action from Ribbokloof as we get ourselves ready to go forward into the racing month of April. And that is going to be round number 3 of the championship, taking us to Buxy's Pub and Grill, 19th of April, round 3 of the FJs. All this Farm Jam racing action is brought to you by Vans Racing in association with Pirelli and Motul, along with VW Mastercars Hatfield, ANCAT Engineering, Stack Ups, and V2 Designs. So as we said, that was Farm Jam round number 2, an absolute belter. Their third round of the championship is going to go out to Buxies. That's where we wrapped up the championship last year. So that's going to be in April. We cannot wait for that one. And straight after that, we get ready for the next round of the GXCCs. Me and the lads are now in edit for the week. Next week, we come back here to Bapsfontein and we tell you exactly what went down.